On this assignment, we are analyzing Me Too movement from a male's point of view. The author, Jacob A. Brueggemann, tells his story of sexual assault and discusses why the phenomenon is more complicated to deal when it concerns men. Me Too movement is a movement against sexual harassment and sexual assault. Originally, the phrase Me Too was used in this context on social media in 2006 by sexual harassment survivor and activist Tarana Burke. Later, the movement got supporters among famous actors and people in the film industry in general who had experienced sexual harassment themselves. In early October 2017, the movement began to go viral as #MeToo on social media. American actress Alyssa Milano posted on Twitter, "If all the women who have ever been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote Me Too as a status, then we give people a sense of the magnitude of the problem." Many of high-profile American celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow, Ashley Judd, Jennifer Lawrence and Uma Thurman, among others, soon responded and worldwide movement was ready to spread. Register Me Too movement. The author, Jacob A. Brueggemann, has experienced sexual assault himself as a young high school student. He says that for many years he didn't have words what had happened, but he always knew that it wasn't right what happened to him. He tells his story without anger or bitterness. He didn't accuse the young woman who did this to him. He didn't think that there was any criminal act, nor the young woman was a rapist. How could he? All his friends reminded him that losing his virginity was a dope and what happened as a score. At the same time, the author felt confused and ashamed what had happened. He said that he carried weight after the encounter. He wasn't willing to this kind of sexual act, and sometimes something very private and fragile was taken away from him. All the pressure became so strongly at him that he tried to suffocate himself in the days that followed. Luckily he failed, and that endeavor he emerged from its more empathic version of himself. Despite the obvious trauma, he calls it that many of his friends continue to make jokes about the party and the assault, because after all, getting laid is getting laid, and that is why guys are meant to go in life, no matter the social or psychological costs. The thinking goes that the guys just can't be assaulted. The author points out that the latest researches show that 1 of 6 males have experienced sexual assault or abuse by the time they turn 18 years. They say that men don't usually open up about these experiences and makes himself as an example. This column was the first time he tells anybody except family members about this trauma. He wants to raise up the problem about sexual assault and how it is handled between female and male point of view. His way to tell his story is forgiving and empathic. The author forgives the young woman, his friends, and finally himself for not understanding the serious damage and trauma this experience has caused him. But he wants to point out that the man has the right to say no, not wanting to get laid and bragging about it, and right to talk about what's going on with his emotions, what feels right and what feels wrong. He wants to change the culture, and that has directed men to carry the weight of assault in a silence. Style. The author, Jacob A. Brueggemann, language he uses in his story is very understandable and clear. He doesn't show any big bursts of anger or aggressiveness. He tells his story as he remembers it, and he reflects the emotions and feelings he has experienced to the understanding he has today. He doesn't accuse anybody for what has happened, but according to Me Too movement, he wants to people to pay attention sexual harassment, especially in male's point of view. In this article, the author refers to Good Old Boys Club, by which he means the powerful and well-known people in the film industry and in other businesses as well. The members of the Good Old Boys Club thinks that because they have the money and the power, they can do anything they like. And that is the attitude that #MeToo movement wants to change. He wants that every man and woman have a voice, and everyone that has experienced sexual harassment in their lives has a way to get a justice. Unlike women, men tend to stay silent if they have been assaulted. The author refers to another study, #See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, means how men are less likely to disclose this sexual harassment than women. With a dash of courage, witches might change the culture that has directed men to carry the weight of assault in silence. With these words he ends article and leaves readers to a positive state of mind where hope for more equal future is possible. Content. The name of the article for male survivors of sexual assault like me, #MeToo can help change culture of silence, goes well with the content of the article. In my opinion, this article was and is a lifeline for many men who have been sexually assaulted in their lives. The author tells his story, and I think that there are thousands of men who have experienced the same, but they have no words for it. They may have been traumatized, but they don't know the reason for their psychological unwellness. Through this story, all men who have been mistreated can start healing, because they know that what they have experienced is as wrong as if it happened to a woman. The author tells a true story from his own life, and he has just started to realize that what was happening to him was an assault. Through this story, hopefully men get their voices out and loud, because now they know that they are not alone. I think that many men can relate to this story. My opinion of this article is that it was well written. The author didn't blame anybody concerning to his story, but pointed out that there are still good old boys clubs who continue to act the same way, using their power and reputation. But there was hope in this story. The author hoped that the silence is broken, and one of the reasons is #MeToo movement.